Mr. Secretary, call the roll.
Gauntlet thrown in the latest battle for President Trump's taxes. California Governor Gavin Newsom signed a bill that requires presidential and gubernatorial candidates to release their tax returns in order to qualify for the state's 2020 primary ballot.
You have a right as an American citizen to know what's going on. You have a right to know if someone's self-dealing.
This latest move pits Newsom in another and more personal fight with Trump as California dives into the Trump tax battle.
The federal government is not going to be able to force his hand. California will.
State Senator Mike McGuire introduced the bill. He says it's all about presidential transparency.
If you're a Democrat or if you're a Republican, you can choose not to release your tax returns. You simply won't be on the California ballot.
But there's only one person who has vehemently resisted releasing his taxes.
I think we all know that audit is hogwash. He simply wants to avoid releasing his tax returns.
For years, Trump has refused to budge.
I would love to give them, but I'm not going to do it while I'm under audit. It's very simple.
To force Trump's hand, states are jumping in. This year, 18 states introduced similar bills. California's law is expected to immediately face legal challenges. But Democrats say they're not worried.
This bill applies to all candidates. It doesn't discriminate. And that's why I believe that this bill will be ruled constitutional.
The state GOP disagrees, noting California's previous governor, Democrat Jerry Brown, vetoed a similar measure, questioning the constitutionality and concerned about a slippery slope precedent.
In your opinion, what is this truly about?
Politics. I think it's clearly a vendetta with President Trump.
That may not matter for Democrats politically. A CNN poll earlier this year found 66% of Americans believe the president should release his tax returns. Just 32% said he should not. Republican Senator Brian Jones says if Trump's name isn't on the state ballot, all his party could do is use it as a tool to energize the GOP base.
People are like, okay, I don't like Trump, but I don't like this idea either of the state or the majority party overreaching, so I'm going to go vote just to show my distaste of this process.
Now, Trump's personal attorney, Jay Sekulow, released a statement after California's actions, saying that California's attempt to circumvent the Constitution will be met and answered in court. Now, California Democrats say they'll meet them in court and hope, Jake, to have some sort of expedited process to have an answer before California's primary on Super Tuesday.
All right, former National Security Advisor John Bolton lashing out at President Trump at a private event in New York. According to a person who was there, Bolton slammed the president's approach to Iran, North Korea, and Afghanistan and, quote, didn't have anything positive to say about Trump. Now, this attendee says Bolton called the idea of inviting the Taliban to Camp David disrespectful to the victims of 9/11. CNN has previously reported Bolton and the president got into a bitter argument over that plan, with Mr. Trump asking for Bolton's resignation at the end of their meeting.
I was just interviewing Jodi Kantor and Megan Twohey, who've written She Said, and it's the inside story of Harvey Weinstein and how they reported and broke the news that launched the Me Too movement. And they have a lot of great things to say about Gwyneth Paltrow and how instrumental she was in helping them when they needed to sort of connect the dots and try to find a way to confirm some of the things that he did. And as you know, this has been a huge and important story, and it's rocked Hollywood. But this is what they said about Gwyneth's role, and in relation to that, about your role as well. So I just want to play you a little soundbite and get your reaction.
The essence of the Gwyneth story is not just about the fact that she says he ended a business meeting at the Peninsula Hotel in Beverly Hills by placing hands on her and saying, let's finish this in the bedroom. The point is, she had been cast in the movie Emma, which was a star-making role. It was a great part, but it hadn't been filmed yet. And after Brad Pitt, her boyfriend at the time, confronted Weinstein, Weinstein called Gwyneth, according to her, and said, you're going to ruin everything. You're going to screw up your whole career. And she thought she was going to be fired.
So Brad Pitt, it's obviously Gwyneth's story to tell and the reporter's story to tell, but I wonder if you feel, you can add anything to that, because you do come out as, one of the heroes of this story. You confronted a guy that very few people were willing to confront, apparently.
Oh, well, I think that's a bit much. I have a couple things to say. I mean, at that moment, you know, I was just I was a boy from the Ozarks on the playground, and that's, I mean, that's how we confronted with things, and wanted to make sure nothing happened further because she was going to do 2 films. You know, I think the interesting thing is that we, Hollywood specifically, but the workplace, men and women's dynamics is being recalibrated in a very good way, and it's long overdue, and I do think that's an important story to tell.
They videoed his death instead of helping him.
Police say some of the final moments of 16-year-old Cassine Morris's life were recorded on cell phones and streamed on social media.
Kids stood here and didn't help Cassine. They would rather video this event.
Police say dozens of people watched an unarmed Morris get stabbed earlier this week outside of a strip mall in Nassau County, New York, and did nothing to help.
There was several kids here. There's got to be about 50, 60, 70 kids here. We have a handful of kids that have come forward that have identified subjects involved in this. There is definitely more.
Morris was taken to a hospital where he later died. Investigators say the fight Morris was involved in was over a girl.
It's over a common girl and a perception of who she might be dating or who she might be hanging with.
Homicide detectives are now urging and warning witnesses to come forward.
You need to get out in front of this. After I put handcuffs on you is not going to be the time to be helpful for you.
Officials say police presence has now been beefed up around the school and the area where the fight took place. Nassau County put out a statement on the stabbing saying, quote, "If you see someone in serious danger, please use your phone to get help, not likes and shares."
You guys took my brother away from me and my family.
I'm Reed Binion reporting.